Right, so in this video, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to talk about dehydration. Firstly, what exactly is dehydration? Well, basically it's just as simple as your body is losing more liquids, fluids than it's taking in. And that's it, it's as simple as that. And the symptoms or the effects of dehydration, there's mild, moderate and severe. Mild, you're just going to feel a bit thirsty. Just get yourself a bottled water, pop, have a few drinks and that's it. Treatment, done. Moderate has several symptoms, which I will go into a bit later in the video. And severe normally requires hospital treatment, which is it can kill. Severe dehydration can kill. So yeah, my story. Now then, it was the mid to late 80s, I think, 86, 87, something like that I got into hiking and walking and backpacking and stuff like that. Got myself my maps and rucksacks and my outdoor gear and stuff like that. Did a few walks, you know, headed off to Snowdonia National Park, Ogwen Valley and stuff like that. And then I embarked a couple of years later, towards the late 80s, I embarked on a long distance walk. It was about 180 miles, so it was a full backpack. I think it was a 90-litre rucksack and a few bits and pieces and stuff like that. I had a bivvy and a tent and of course all the outdoor gear and stuff like that. So anyway, I set off. Everything's fine. A few slugs of pop, you know, as I was walking, something to eat and this and that. And as you do at that age, you know, the early, well, mid to late 80s, I was a lot younger in them days. In the evenings, you have yourself a few bevies, don't you? You know, a few beers, a few cans of beers, a cider and what have you. And next morning, pack up, a couple of drinks, you know, a few slugs out of a pop bottle, and off I went. Carried on like that for about 5, 6, 7 days, something like that. Everything was fine, no problems at all, and I always remember it. Can't remember exactly where I was, but I was lucky. I was in a village or a little small town where they had a supermarket, and it suddenly hit me roughly about dinner time, about noon. I started feeling weak. I thought, oh God, I'm starting to struggle. Then I started to sweat, and my heart rate, it was racing, and I felt a bit lightheaded, and I thought, any time now I'm going to faint. My hands started trembling, my legs started shaking under the weight of the backpack, and this never happened in, you know, up until then. All these symptoms suddenly came like that within 5 or 10 minutes, and I thought, what the hell's going on here? And I'd got moderate dehydration, and that's what was happening. And so, like I say, luckily enough, and I had electrolyte tablets or some sort of electrolyte, not this one, these ones that I use now, but in my backpack. I never used them. I was just, I don't know, a few sips of pop and stuff like that. But being that I was sweating during the walk and stuff, and drinking at night, you know, a few cans of beer and stuff like that, I was actually losing more fluid than out of my body than I was putting back in. And like I say, I had moderate dehydration. I felt absolutely terrible. I thought, any minute now I'm going to just faint, just collapse. I didn't have blurred vision. I felt a bit dizzy, lightheaded and stuff. I didn't even feel thirsty, and I never felt sick, but I had all them other symptoms. I felt absolutely rotten. So I went off to just about made it into the supermarket, and I got some electrolyte drinks. Now, electrolytes are minerals which you need for when in your certain situation, like you've got moderate dehydration. Ordinary water or ordinary squash mixed with water is not enough. That's not the treatment. because you need the minerals. You need potassium, sodium, manganese and what have you. You need the minerals, the electrolytes to get into your body, which water, a certain amount, but you need a proper electrolyte drink. Now then, you can get, like from these days, Explosade or something it's called. This is Explosade Sports. Now it's not an electrolyte drink, it hasn't got minerals in it. You need an electrolyte drink, an actual electrolyte drink that has the minerals in it, sodium, and this has got a little bit of sodium in, actually, I tell a lie, but it's not a proper electrolyte drink. But what I use these days now, I find, is these High Five Zeros. They got all what you need, everything. 750ml, pop a tablet in, effervescent, fizzes up, drink it and away you go. But like I say, that's what I had. I had moderate dehydration. I felt so ill. So what I did, like I say, I go in the supermarket, got some electrolyte drinks, found myself a nice quiet little spot, bit of shade, I sat on my rucksack and rested, and I just sipped, didn't gulp the whole bottle down, just a few glugs, waited a few minutes, I just literally just drank my way through, I don't know how many bottles, it was quite a few bottles, and it was about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Symptoms just started draining away. The sweating went, my palms were wet. Like I say, but I didn't have a headache, and I didn't feel sick, and I didn't feel disoriented. I felt a bit lightheaded, but they just started going, the minerals, the electrolytes, and I was starting to rehydrate. And that's it. So ever since then, after that, I've always made sure I have plenty of fluids and plenty of electrolytes when I'm out walking and stuff like that. Sports drinks are great, but like I say, don't be, confused with Explosade Sports. Don't think it's it will rehydrate you, but it's not as good as an electrolyte drink, which these are. You can get them in tablet form, which I use these today. These are the High Five Zeros. Got no sugar in or nothing, but they've got all the minerals and everything you need, and they're quite nice. They come in a range of flavours, so they're nice. So yeah, so that's what happened to me. So I just thought I'd share this story. Like I say, I was pretty new. It was the mid to late 80s, and I thought, Jack the lad, a few beers at night, a couple of slugs of pop in the morning. No, it didn't work. I went in. It was about halfway. It was about a 2-week walk, and I got about 6 or 7 days in, and that's it. Bang! It just hit me within 10 minutes. I was absolutely gone. But that was moderate dehydration. As I say, mild dehydration. You just feel a bit thirsty, have a bit of a drink, and that's it. Moderate dehydration has a lot of symptoms, but severe dehydration can kill you. So yeah, and it can affect, anyone can get dehydrated, from a little small infant to a senior citizen. Whatever age you are, anyone can get dehydrated. So that's it. I just thought I would share that story. So if you're there thinking, dehydration, it'll never happen to me, it can. And it will if you don't have enough fluids.